came here with $44. I got like a little duped by like Super Shuttle at the airport. I got them confused with that lake job shuttle that was supposed to pick me up with the summer camp shuttle. And so I ended up with like $28. That was my startup capital in America.
Oh my goodness, $28.
If you just, spend a little time with yourself and ask what is like one thing you can improve, right? And take an action as quickly as possible after you arrive at that conclusion. I think you can, like anybody can do anything in the long term.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Through with the Splash of Tea, a podcast where conversation is key. I'm your host, Cass, and let's get right into it. So today, we have a very special guest. Today, we have Sean Smirnov. Sean is a pioneer that approaches healthcare and technology with an entrepreneurial spirit and out of thinking that arises from his unique cross-functional background in medicine, business, research, and policymaking. Sean is also the founder of Unadat. Unadat is a company focused on free, anonymous, goal-driven financial tools to help people outsmart debt and build financial stability. But I also learned that Unadat is so much more. So we'll dive right into that. But first things first, Sean, I'd like to say thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Congrats on your success.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate when people say that because it's like, it's not easy, but you get it,
Yeah.
All right. So like I was telling you a little bit before, like off camera, I like to have my guests start off with a little bit about their background and a little bit about, because I feel like that ties a lot into who you are today, at least a little bit. So let's dive into a little bit about your background and like flow into your story a little bit.
It's a good question. Yeah. I mean, it's always like, where do you start, right?
Right.
Well, I was born in the Soviet Union. And as I was coming to my 7-year-old maturity, it turned into a Russia. Mm-hmm. And then I came to the United States. And so I'm like multicultural in a sense.
Definitely.
Yeah. And within the United States, we can probably talk about it separately, but there's kind of like almost like an immigration identity versus your kind of assimilated, integrated identity. So I always think myself as having exposed to 4 different cultures in some ways.
Mm.
And
Wait, how 4?
So Soviet Union, Russia, and kind of immigrant America, and sort of like assimilated, integrated America.
Oh yeah,
Even though that last part never ends, as we know, but
it still is a different version of the immigrated version of yourself.
Of course, yeah.
So how old were you when you moved over?
19.
Oh, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, or if you want to, we can talk about it. Okay, let's talk about the assimilation coming from Russia and coming to the U.S. and the culture shock of it all, just alone. And then 19 years ago, what year was that? 20 years ago?
2023-ish. Yeah.
23 years ago?
No, 2023. 2003. Sorry.
Okay. No, we got to it together.
Yes.
Okay, so around 2003, you come over, you see the U.S. Well, I feel like it was booming at that time. The market didn't crash till 2008. Okay, I'm done talking. Tell me about everything.
Yeah, well, it was booming maybe from the American perspective, but from the immigrant perspective, it was post 9/11. So all of the Department of Homeland Security was getting revamped. It's actually kind of not too dissimilar to what's kind of happening now a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Some parallels. So kind of securing visas was harder, and there was like delays in processing, and I think the fees were going up, kind of similar to the way they're going up now. So I had to kind of claw my way into through the process a little bit.
And then where did you go once you arrived here and you were 19 years old? Did you enter college, or what was your?
Oh, far from it. So I left Russia at $50 in my pocket. That's all that like I could come up with. And then I spent $6 in London because I had to go see the Baker Street. That's the Sherlock Holmes apartment. I was a big fan of the book when I was growing up. So I came here with $44. I got like a little duped by like Super Shuttle at the airport. I got them confused with that lake job shuttle that was supposed to pick me up with the summer camp shuttle. And so I ended up with like $28. That was my startup capital in America.
Oh my goodness, $28.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of it. And then I got this summer camp job, being a dishwasher for a few months. got like $637 or something from it. After like 2 months of
breaking your back or like but $600, that's a big jump from 28. That's
no, exactly. It's like 200% return on your 2,000% return on your investment.
All right, so you did camp for that summer, and then where did you transition after that?
And then I came to Manhattan, and I was actually sleeping on the street for like several nights.
Really?
And then I was about to give up, so I rented that. It was like a hostel on it's like Central Park Ave and 106th Street.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how much it cost. It was like $21 or something, like $23. I think it was like throwing $23.
It's a deal.
Yeah, but it was a deal. But it's like 6 bunk beds in the room, and you like put all your valuables in your underwear because it's just like super shady. It's super shady.
Yeah.
It's not like unclean or anything, but it's just like super random people.
Right. You just don't know anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So where did we go after wait? So let me rewind just a little bit. You did this transition alone, right? It was just you who came to the U.S., right?
Completely alone. Yeah.
Okay. So after the hostel, where were we able to transition?
So the guy whom I worked with at the summer camp came to New York, and the way we communicated is a separate conversation because there were like no cell phones, like I went on no laptops, there was no Wi-Fi like that, there were no like handheld devices yet, so I had to like not hack, but like find a way around the Port Authority bus terminal machines that they had there. Mm-hmm. Thinking like I found a way to like access my email through that. That was my only point of contact.
Oh my gosh, yes. So 2003 coded, like around that time, early 2000s.
People don't realize how much this stuff has gone through, yeah.
And honestly, that's not that much time, 20 years?
Yeah, and now we can like just pick up a tablet for like $30 and hook up to Wi-Fi and you're like connected to anything.
All across the world. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. All right, so you were able to essentially not really hack, but get through in order to communicate better. And then what happened? Where'd we go?
I think one of the first things I did, I sent an email to like Harvard Medical School. And I was like, hey, I'm a medical student from Russia. I'd like to continue my medical training. Where do I start?
Yes. I love it.
That was like super naive, but you have to.
Hold the trophy. I love it. If I got that email, I'd have been like, we need this guy. We need to get him. I don't care where you find him, get him. I love that. Okay. So did Harvard email you back?
Actually, don't remember. Yeah, I think they did. I think they sent me like pretty nice, like a 3 sentences email. That was like half helpful.
But not too much.
Yeah, I mean, I was like way away from everything.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the continued transition of figuring out where you wanted to go and then ending up in college and then everything after.
Yeah, so college wasn't even in the cards. The biggest thing for me was to get the visa extension. Mm-hmm. And like, I ended up in New York like August 23rd. You see, the memories are so vivid because they are like, you were living it, right? Yeah. I still remember it 20 years later. I was in New York like August 23rd and my visa was expiring on like September 8th. So I had to like figure out what to do. I ended up applying for like extension. Like figuring out some kind of immigration forms or something. I think there was some kind of service. You paid like $75 and the lady did it for you. It wasn't like a lawyer, but just like an English-speaking person. Yeah, anyway, so extended the visa and my friend and I rented like a little room in a Spanish Harlem, like 143rd Street and Broadway-ish. Okay. Yeah, and that was it. We went we went to the store. We found the cheapest phone we could find. It was like $8. And I kind of like plugged it into that lady's apartment because we didn't have a choice. Not the power of this moment. But we kind of like didn't pay for the phone. Mm-hmm. That was our only way to find a job. But looking for a job over the phone was pretty hard because we didn't speak English. So I ended up like traveling and talking to people. And it's like a different world there because like your go-to job in these situations is like construction or something, right? If you're like a male. And we went to the construction site by the, near Public Library, the 5th Avenue on Broadway. And the guy was like, I'm going to call the cops on you. You're not union members.
Bro, you can't even talk? Like,
no, yeah, exactly. We're like, what's union?
Please define. No idea.
So that was like our first interaction. And the second one, the guy was like, yeah, sure, leave me your resume and I'm going to call you back. And we're like, what's a resume? So it's, we've covered all the facets of it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. But New York is so perfect for that, for you to see the hot and the cold and everything in between all in the same day, maybe the same 15 minutes. Do you think that you staying in New York for as long as you did has had an impact or a presence in who you are today or in your creations?
Definitely. I mean, we really appreciate Boston and Massachusetts, and I lived in Worcester for a number of years. And like as far as family is concerned, like really love our lifestyle. But without New York, there's a chance like I would not have been able to make it. Well, it's just very different, very vibrant.
Yeah.
Like here between the Patriots game and the Celtics games and the Red Sox games, you can't even see people. Like you can make anything happen.
The game. Sorry, I got a game, bro. I have to. Worried if you're not going to the game, I got to go to the pub to watch the game.
Yeah, like I want to schedule like 3 months out because it's like I'm looking at my sports calendar.
That's so true. That's very, very true. But New York is a different experience. Like you can see people walking outside and and have those connections. Wow, I like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, can we talk about Unidad?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about Unidad and how it came to fruition and how it's all started.
It's a great question. So there's like 2 parts to it. One was medical school related and one was like helping a friend related.
Okay.
So my friend was trying to pay off her credit cards, and I just created a little spreadsheet for her. So there was a very simple idea, actually, like from the mathematical perspective, right? Credit score is dependent on the amount of money you owe on the credit cards. Mm-hmm. So if you pay close to the inflection points, like 30% or 50% or 100%, that gives you like a little boost in credit score. Mm-hmm. So how much can you boost your credit score by paying as little as possible? Like you have 3 different credit cards, which one the money should go onto? That was our initial spreadsheet. And I just created it, very quickly sent it to her, forgot about it. And that was it for many, many years. For I think it was 2011 maybe. And then we were working on a startup, past business school, past some other startups. And we had a team, probably 6 people, 7 people at the time. And we just decided to take 3 weeks out of our schedules and just focus on this one idea. Because she kind of kept nagging us to do more. Is there a product? Is there another spreadsheet? So, and we ended up spending those team resources for about 3 weeks and kind of never looked back since then.
Wow. Okay. So she came back asking for more products because she had already completed what you'd already made for her.
Right. I think she told her friends as well, and her friends were using it, and they were like, is there more? Like, what else can we do? Right. And there was at the time, a little bit before this whole plethora of new apps have entered the market, right? Not many people were focused on financial services like this. I think Mint was around before it got bought by the tax company, anyways, and they just ended up shutting it down because right recently. So there was Mint, and later there was YNAB, which is you need a budget, right, or something like that. But there was like kind of budgeting apps, and we don't really believe in budgeting for a lot of people. We feel like budgeting is a great concept. There's a small percentage of people who are very detail-oriented, who would like actually enter every transaction or, kind of keep track of it. And but for a lot of people, it probably is not a solution. Like most of the people just kind of think about money a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was the first part of it. And the second part was that I was in med school, and the professor told us that only 60% patients actually respond to our recommendations. 40% don't have access to care or cannot afford medication. And I was like, so even if we become like the best clinicians possible, our efficiency is only like limited at 60%. Mm-hmm. So that was a kind of like a mind-blowing and kind of future-changing moment for me. Mm. So I was like, well, we need to focus on like sort of access to it and financial things. And then we realized how it's linked to depression and anxiety, and those things drive people even like deeper into the hole, right? So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so when did you actually realize that like finances were as important as they are? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Within the context of medicine, right? That probably was like my second year of med school, so it must have been like 2012-ish, 2011-ish.
And then you got hit with that.
Yeah. Well, finances, like when you grow up in a place like, let's say, Russia, right? So pretty much everybody lives paycheck to paycheck, right? Well, I guess Russia today is a little bit different, right? It's quite different. There's a more kind of more stratified society, right? When I was growing up, the difference in the people's salaries was like between 90 rubles and 150 rubles. Like the school teacher would make like 95, and my mother was a programmer, electrical engineer. She would make like 150, and that was the entire range, right? And there were like no rich people. Like there were people who were rich because they would, have some kind of partake in the government or some kind of access to something they could take from work. But they weren't like rich officially, Yeah. So growing up in that environment and like coming here to like the land of abundance, right? Seeing like how many rich people and how many, for lack of a better word, poor people there are. I think it kind of gives you a bit of a perspective because you're like, hey, like a lot of people here like really don't understand how it is around the world or how it could be, I think that, but it took a while to connect it to the healthcare, right? Because you kind of like, think as long as you have insurance, you're going to be fine. But it's not really the case. Yeah.
Let's go back to that story of that fixed income in Russia for a little bit. Do you think that system makes more sense?
A fixed income?
Yeah.
No. There's a kind of separate case that could be made for like negative income tax, they call it, right? That's kind of different discussion. Aside from that, there's nothing good about kind of poverty. I think what people don't appreciate is that when they talk about equality, they think like, hey, there's a discrepancy. Like there's people sort of at the bottom and the people kind of on top. And by introducing the equality, we're going to like make everybody go up. What happens in reality is that people from the top lower themselves to that level. And just to kind of be clear about this, when I mention poverty, I don't mean just money. I also mean access to like civil rights and your liberties and protections, education as well, right? I guess healthcare could be part of it. So in my opinion, and again, some of my friends from like New Russia would probably push me back on this because there are a lot of people now who have pretty good lifestyle. But in my opinion, like the way I was growing up in the 90s in Russia, like we all were poor. It doesn't matter how much money you had because, if your rights can be kind of trampled upon at any given moment, by like men in masks, whatever, stereotypically, right? Then like how prosperous,
how free could you ever really be, right?
Yeah.
Unless the system changes.
Exactly. I think there's some, correlations to like what happened in America, right? For some people, for some groups of people. So it's never ending process, but I feel like in America, there's a way to kind of move it towards change. There's in Russia, the only change happens from like rebellion, like, Russian revolution, like we're going to kill a certain number of million people and then we're going to restructure the society. Here, as slow as the change might be, as much as we might want it to be faster, like there are mechanisms for it to happen. Like pretty much like at least from the foreigner's perspective, that's how it appears. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I don't think about that often enough. I don't think about that often enough from the foreigner's perspective. At least we have the opportunity to, though it may be not fast enough for us, we have the opportunity to see a changing country. And not everyone has that opportunity from their home. Okay. Very much a silver lining, a big silver lining, actually. Like a big silver lining, right? It might take 40, 30, whatever years, but at least we can see it. Like, and we know that. Okay. I like that. So Unadat isn't only a right now, as it stands today, does Unadat still offer financial services in like in its entirety of offerings? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, definitely. That's just still like our legacy, right? Kind of bread and butter. The way we reshape the system is that everything starts with a gold store. So you just go and you pick the gold that you want. Kind of same way as you shop on Amazon for like different physical goods. You can just shop for a goal, except that it's free and anonymous. So you say, hey, I want to, buy a house. I want to save $200. I want to, improve my healthcare insurance or start a life insurance or an investment fund. You click on a goal and the system guides you through and you can build support system of your friends. Or if you don't have friends who want to support you, you can build friends within the community. The system kind of does two things for you. It helps you behaviorally because there are other people who in a similar situation with you. And it kind of breaks this sort of stigma of like talking about finances or talking about debt, right? A lot of people like don't feel comfortable talking about it, right? And the second thing, it just actually tells you what steps might be involved in getting something happen. Maybe save $20 here, or maybe switch this plan you have, or we can hook you up to some other apps that can help you with other services, like unsubscribing from unwanted subscriptions. I think people pay like $219 on average a month on like stuff they don't even know they subscribe to. So there's a lot of different apps to do it, but we can help you consolidate the process. Kind of like very clear starting point and support system throughout.
Wow. So you guys tackle almost every and anything.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is like, how Amazon was always envisioned to be like the biggest store on earth with like 10 million, merchandise items, whatever. We see ourselves as potentially having a goal store of hundreds of thousands of goals, because they can be very fine-tuned, right? Like if I talk to somebody with like financial background and I say, hey, like we're going to work on you saving $5,000, versus talking to somebody without a financial background, or someone has anxiety, who has a bunch of like psychological triggers or depression, right? Like those are going to be two entirely different conversations and entirely different plans and entirely different support systems, right? With a myriad of possibilities in between.
So are you one-on-one with your guests and your customers, or it's you and a team member are one-on-one, or how does it work?
As far as the platform is concerned, it's completely automated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we are always there to support it and kind of fill the gaps.
Okay.
But it's meant to be completely automated.
Okay. So all somebody has to do is just download your app or enter your...
Go on the website, and just log in and create a free account. Always going to be free for the users. At least that's our pledge for now. And we also anonymous. We don't ask even for your real name, because kind of none of our business. If there is at any point the need for you to disclose it, if you have to reach to third-party partners or services, then it becomes a separate process. We try not to even touch your personal data. So it's kind of similar to healthcare, right? Where you have HIPAA protections and also the informed consent. So the idea is that if any data about you is being collected or being, by your choice, disseminated, we want you to consent to that, to the fact. And we don't sell any data, like we're not making any money that way. Have zero interest in doing that.
Where do you see Unadat going in the future?
In the future, we think it might become a layer between like people sort of spending money and people deciding how to spend money. So, for example, if you're staring at some new shiny object that you might or might not need, and it costs you $100, like how do you put that in perspective? Like, what is this $100 going to mean for you by the time you're ready to retire? And retirement doesn't have to be at 65. It could be at 50, right? You might just decide to retire early. So let's say you want to retire by 50 years old. What does this what's the true cost of this $100 object, right? Most of the time, it's much, much more than that. It's probably going to be close to $1,000 by the time you especially if you're a young person, by the time you retire. So we provide all these visualization tools. We don't give people actual advice. We just help them make their own choices based on the true information that they can receive.
How are you able to create this system that you believe works best when giving people financial direction? Like the anonymity, the not telling people what to do, but simply just steering them. These are all, like, you thought about each of these individually. How were you able, why those? And how did you even get to the list of those?
Question. Yeah. So we were actually very much a minority group when we started talking about anonymity. It was before Apple pivoted into this privacy thing, right? To whichever extent it is true. And every venture capitalist or accelerator or advisor was pushing against it. They were saying it's going to be really hard to build. People don't care. And we disagreed. And that was our bet. We said that the only way people will trust us with their financial information is if we're trustworthy, right? And true anonymity is pretty hard to achieve. So a lot of it comes down to the user. But as far as what we can do is just not to collect that extra information that everybody's trying to collect themselves. So we knew that was going to be a necessary building block for people to allow us to help them. That makes sense. What was the second part of this? Besides anonymity, the automation aspects of it. I think that's.
Wait, drawing a blank. Wait, what did you think of
I
us?
think you were asking about
Anonymity, and what else did I mention?
I think you mentioned like how do those kind of steps come together?
Yes. Essentially, like your founding blocks.
Right.
Like, so these were all conversations that you had with your team prior, and you were like, okay, so what do we need? Like, what do we need our foundation to look like?
Exactly. Because we know that, well, it's kind of like two ways of think about it. One is the Jeff Bezos thing, way of thinking, right? Like customers will always want like faster shipping. They're not going to want slower shipping, right? Customers going to want like more discrete packaging, not less discrete packaging, right? So it's like a pretty simple thought experiment you can do. So generally speaking, customers probably always going to want to have more control over their privacy. Customers probably always going to want to have an option for anonymity when they deal with financial data. Customers probably don't want you to sell more of their data, right? If anything, they don't want you to sell any of it at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a simple-ish thought experiment you can kind of run, right? So you kind of like eliminate a bunch of variables like very quickly that way. And from there, the rest just came from endless discussions and trying to figure out the product market fit. What does the people want? How can that be achieved? Like very customer-driven approach.
How large is your team?
So it's a great question. We actually two co-founders, so we're doing this full time. Twice a year, we blow it up to 50, 60 people because we'll bring a lot of part-time developers or interns. We have an agreement with a university I went to in New York, and they send us students as a kind of internship basis. So we sort of develop their real workplace experience. But we managed to push the boundaries of our process to accommodate a lot of people with very little effort. Yeah, that's the power of technology. They're saying, like, I think they said like in the next 5 years, there's going to be $1 billion startup created with a single founder, just using a ChatGPT base, or just using like AI and other things. Yeah. So we're like probably going to see another $1 billion company with like a single person at the realm, because you can just do so much with the computer code and everything. Yeah.
Oh. Wow. That just, wow. Putting that in perspective is huge. Like, yeah, we'll probably see it in a minute. But I'm also thinking about how fast we'll see billionaires come after that. We'll probably see another one, and then, and then it gets easier. It gets Wow.
I think as far as technology goes, it gets easier, but at the same time, you have to like keep inventing like new marketplaces, right?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You still need the idea behind the functioning machine. Right. You need that. How do you see AI affecting Unidad in the future? Or do you see?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. I mean, the thing about AI is that it's not kind of product by itself, right? It's more of an engine that can power a bunch of different things, right? It's like you have a processor in your smartphone, and maybe operating system, and then you have all these apps on top of it, right? So AI is a powerful tool. AI, as we understand it today, is still a little unreliable, right? It doesn't do super well with the numbers. It does have a tendency of hallucinating. And when people want financial kind of math, financial visualizations, they want them to be kind of absolute and deterministic. That said, though, we have nothing against AI. I think we're probably going to try to have a few pilots of like APIing into it. And API is when you build a little bridge between the softwares, right? So like build a little bridge between maybe ChatGPT or Gemini and Unidad, and just see what we can do with it. Just play with it, run a few hackathons, see what comes up. So it doesn't contradict our model. If anything, it helps. I think where it helps us a lot is that people are becoming more kind of open-minded about those things. So where a person never felt that there could be something out there to support them, besides maybe their family or friends, now they're like, hey, like, let me ask the computer system, right?
Yes. It's becoming very much more normalized. And we didn't always have this thought process when it came to AI and the robots. And like, we were like, oh, I don't know about that. But now we're like, all right, let me ask ChatGPT. Yeah.
And that's usually like 90% of the change, right? Of the change. Yeah. Once you're already asking the question and you're already out there and you're engaged and you appreciate the fact that you might need help and you might have a problem, that's like a huge part of the journey.
Right.
And then we can just figure out what solution would fit you, what goal would fit you.
Mm-hmm. And then once you're already open to receiving AI's help, then you can just go right into that and turn towards it and grow.
I mean, AI is, for lack of a better word, amazing. There's obviously a lot of risks that come with it, and it's kind of separate discussions, right? How we regulate it or whatnot. But I think it does miracles for a lot of people, or could do miracles for a lot of people.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So you're not only an entrepreneur and a brilliant mind, but you're also a dad, right? A family man?
Yes. I have 2 children and I have a stepson.
Wow, 3. How long have you been married?
We've been together for 18 years now.
18 years.
Yeah, married for less than that.
What's the key to 18 years, Sean? No
having a low standards, a low expectations.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
I mean, that's actually like both a comical and probably truthful answer. But I think for me, it's giving another person like room to grow. But what it really means is also being able to like reinvent your relationships, right? Because where we are today with my wife is probably entirely different relationship compared to what we had, all these years ago.
Yeah.
It's just a different animal, right? So being able to kind of transform with that person and kind of have that sort of tolerance, but not the tolerance in a way that I'm just gonna like not say anything. More of a tolerance in a way of like figuring things out without stonewalling.
Yes. Yes. Or allowing your emotions to lead, which sometimes it's very tough in like many situations. How did becoming a dad change you? Oh,
that was the biggest transition in my life. My daughter was born as well, and like one of the first girls in like 2 generations of my family. So it was just like transformational for me. And I for a while I confused kind of personal happiness with achievement. So I would like, hey, like another diploma, another degree, another award, another whatever grade, right? Another paper, another exam, and then I just kind of felt like I was hitting a wall. It just like the color kind of like left that world. It became like so gray and boring. And my daughter was born. I was like, whoa, this is the entire different like brain rewiring program that can guide you. So I think I found my kind of calling in it.
And being a dad?
Being a dad, yeah, for sure.
And then you also have a son. You had a son after your daughter.
I had a son after my daughter too, yeah.
Okay. But when you got with your spouse, she already had a son.
Yes.
Okay. So you became a stepdad first. So how was that? Because that was your first introduction to being a parent, was being a stepdad.
That was tough, yeah. And he was very, very little when I met her. He was like a year old.
Oh my God.
So it's like pretty much
literally.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the stepchildren that people don't talk too openly about is that they have the biological fathers.
Yes.
And that is a very big element in everything, right? Mm-hmm. And they might also have a little bit less affinity for kind of trying to please you within the normal range, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a different challenge for sure. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to sort of negotiate this like 3-prong system as opposed to like a true prong. Like it's hard enough for 2 parents to agree on how to raise a child, right?
Yeah. Versus throwing another one in the mix. Right. Yeah. And then now everyone has to at least be okay with it. Maybe not everyone's a total yes, but like at least an okay is what we're going to try and strive for. So we can get this kid to do something, versus everybody be at each other's throats. So yeah, I get that. All right. So one more family question. Your son, because you had your son second, and sometimes men will say having a son is different, or it's a different beast, or children are different. Women and men are different regardless. How was it having your son? Was it a different experience than having your daughter, or were you like, I already did this before? Like this is another round?
Great question. Yeah, we had my son was born quite early, so they gave us like a little scare, like a big scare actually. So that kind of tainted that entire sort of experience a little bit. But again, I guess every child is different, but from our experience, our kids are very different. And it's also gender specific, like within the sample size of 3, right? I feel like my daughter's world is kind of infinitely more complex.
Really?
I feel like she's attuned to a lot of things that I'm not sure if my son is going to be a 10 too. I think when he needs to when he needs to connect like A to Z in the most direct line, he's a genius at it. But like he would not pick on, some intricacies of our, maybe emotional state or relationships or something. And my daughter would be on it, like, and he would be completely oblivious to it. And my daughter is like 9 years old, and she's like taking me to school. Like I'm just figuring out the things that she knows at 9, being, being the age that I am.
Being a little older than her,
A little older than
her. Wow. That's very interesting. I think I love when parents have both genders because it really gives you an insight on how both brains work. Guys and women and men are just so different. And like you really, really are able to see that when they're younger, when they're kids. So that's amazing. Do you want to have any more kids? Are they in the horizon?
Probably. I mean, like never say never.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't like, I don't want to say like opposed to it, but like, I guess there's a part to it that's just like life that would be happening, but like no plans.
And your spouse is Russian as well? Or is your spouse is Russian as well?
No, my spouse actually is Black.
Yeah. Wow. You have a mixed family.
So that's another there's another cultural dimension there.
Yeah, literally. You're juggling so much. You're tackling so much just in your normal life. Oh my goodness.
A little chaotic, but it's all part of a journey, right? Part of the adventure.
Absolutely. So Sean, what does your day-to-day look like now?
Question. Well, I wake up early. I take my kids to school. My wife usually gets them ready for the most part because I'm kind of useless in the morning. And then I get to work, whatever it might be. Taking meeting with my team, doing we usually have like this rule of third. We spend third time working individually, but third time is in meetings with, junior developers, and about a third is in the senior meetings. And then I go get my kids from school and take them to karates and soccers and give them baths and put them to bed.
Yes, that's amazing that you get to actually have like your family. Not a lot of entrepreneurs are able to like tie in family time to their day to day, but you're able to do that and you prioritize it, which is really good.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to prove a hypothesis that it is possible to do more by being smarter and more balanced and more organized with your schedule. Because when I was younger, I worked, I don't know, there were times I would work 21 hours a day for many, many years, 21 hours a day for many, many years. And in medicine, for example, like you do, let's say, vascular surgery, you have to wake up at like 3:30, you have to be there at like 4:15. Like you're doing wards at like 5 o'clock. And then you're done at like 10, you go home, start your foot at ward, sleep for a couple hours, go back to clinic. And I lived that life for many, many years. I started that life actually in pre-high school in Russia. I was like 14, 15 years old. And in a lot of ways, it probably feels like you're kind of spinning wheels, right? And if your job is to make a short number of impactful decisions, then there's nothing more important for you than sleep, right? So you have to sleep. And I guess also what ties into this kind of psychological comfort from family and health, and you kind of have a nice family dinner, probably is part of it too. And then you wake up in the morning and you can solve the problems that you agonized over last night for hours in the course of several minutes because your brain is just rested, it's in the right place, and you can make that short number of those impactful decisions. So I think that's what we're trying to do. I think we always have that kind of I know I can go back to different modality. And then once we in a position where we owe a lot of people a lot of money, we might not have luxury. In that case, we'll just do what we have to do to please all our stakeholders. I know I can go back to 20-hour work days if I need to, but I don't necessarily feel like it's going to lead to much of an increase in efficiency. At least that's what we're trying to prove.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think if more of us allowed our brains to do more of the work and like our creativity and just allow it to flourish out, I think this country would skyrocket. It would be through the roof. But
I agree. Yeah.
If only. All right. So I'm going to ask you my closing question.
Okay.
There's one question that I ask all my guests. Did you already see it on YouTube? Don't lie.
Your question is
my closing question.
about learning, like how.
Oh, you did see it.
Yeah.
Ugh, whatever. All right. So still gonna ask
It's
it.
supposed to be a secret.
Yeah, well, maybe I should take it off YouTube if I want this to be a secret. Okay, I'm going to ask it. I ask all my guests this because I am very big on learning and I think knowledge is very important. So I want to know from you, what is one thing that you wish more people knew? And it can be in regards to you, Unidad, the world, just whatever. What's something that you wish more people knew?
Great question. I don't know if I have like any secret pieces of knowledge, but I think the short answer is that sometimes it really is as simple as just getting out there and doing something, right? You know, like Nietzsche said, most people don't see God because they don't look low enough. And like sometimes the change would just start with the tiny little kind of self-focused actions. If you just, you know, spend a little time with yourself and ask what is like one thing you can improve, right? And take an action as quickly as possible after you arrive at that conclusion. I think you can, like anybody can do anything in the long term.
If you just start with that small action.
Small step, yeah. And I come from an academic background, and I came to kind of diminish the importance of passive learning. Like, hey, like we're going to teach you how to fish, right? And you're going to be a fisherman forever. It works for some people, but a lot of it just comes down to like having a good fishing rod, you know, that somebody can supply, and maybe have some other fishermen with you to kind of give you motivation to wake up early in the morning and actually get to the canal, right? So I think that those are probably the two components of like kind of active learning, where you don't just consume textbooks of information, but you focus on the milestones and baby steps that you need to take. And you do that sort of as quickly as possible once you arrive at a decision to do it. And you kind of lock those steps and you kind of commit to them. Maybe whatever it is, maybe you put them on your calendar. Maybe you ask your friend to remind you to do something. Maybe you don't just do a little challenge by yourself, but you do it with another person. Like, let's save $200. I need help. Like, you know, whomever saves it first, kind of, I don't know, buys everybody dinner or something, or that way around. And let's kind of let's get at it. I think that's the most important thing.
Perfect. So good. So good. That made me think of when you said earlier about figuring out your fundamentals when it came to Unidad. And it was like, it's more simpler than it seems. Like, think about the things that people don't want and just do the opposite. Like, exactly. You know, it like, I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that like life is like a lot more simpler than we were digesting before. Like, I feel like my life was so complicated in my 20s. And now like I'm getting older, I'm like, okay, maybe things aren't that complicated. Like,
that's what I keep telling you. It's like, it's not that simple, right? You know, what if it is?
I'm thinking like it kind of is. Like, if we just like really look at it and like not let our emotions blind us, or not like, you know, just like clear it a little bit. It's like the answer's kind of right there. Like, oh, I love that. All right.
Thank you.
It's so good.
That was great. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh my gosh. I wish you could talk some more. You have to come back.
Anytime.
I don't say that to everybody. I know you might think that I do.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm trying not to be like too nerdy about things, but
I love it. It's so good. Like, I feel like your brain is just like oozing out, and there's so much knowledge. There's so much knowledge.
Congrats on your success again. I've been following your podcast with a splash of tea for a while. Yes. It's been growing phenomenally.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want to do this forever and like all the time. So thank you. You're helping me to be able to do so. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for watching if you watched. Thank you for listening if you listened. You can catch Through with a Splash of Tea every Wednesday and Thursday on all streaming platforms, including YouTube. Bye now.